We are at the halfway point of our 1980s review series, and today we're counting down the top 10 movies of 1985. So let's hop back in the DeLorean and jet back in time to the year 1985. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Cinema Sermons. My name is Kevin, and today we are counting down the top 10 movies of 1985. Now remember, this is a subjective list, right? This is what I think are kind of like the best movies of 1985, or the movies that just kind of envelop that year the most, right? So it might not be the best movies of 1985, but whatever, man, it's my list. So if you don't like it, make your own and put it down in the comments and let me know. Yeah. We are working our way through the 80s, and when we get through the 80s, we're gonna go ahead and rank each of the top movies of each year against each other and find out what is the best movie of that decade. And then we'll probably move into the 90s and 2000s too, because you guys seem to like that. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out the channel tremendously. And let's jump into the list. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Weird Science. So this movie is just a staple of the 80s. Everyone knows it. I'm pretty sure it has a young Robert Downey Jr. in it. And this is a movie where these two like science nerds, it's what they want to call them in the 80s. Two kids who are big time into science. They basically create their ideal woman. They make the perfect woman. And God already did that. Her name is Jen Ledger. She's drumming for the band Skillet right now. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I need to stop hitting on that girl. She's gonna see this video and be like, never listen to our music again. Anyway, Weird Science. Anyway, these dudes make the perfect woman, man, and all of the hijinks and teenage mischief that you can imagine with that come out. It's a very good coming of age story. It's a great comedy, and it comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Is this a good movie? Not at all. Does it rock? Yeah, it does, man. So The Last Dragon is a story of Bruce Leroy, and he's living in Harlem, right? And he's studying to become a martial arts master. Of course, he's very into Bruce Lee, the man. He's working to become a master and achieve the glow. And then you have the Shogun of Harlem, Sho'nuff, who's coming after him and wants to beat him, and just all of the cheesiness of the 80s is on full display in this movie, man. But it's cool. This movie is awesome. As my dad has been saying my whole life, this is the best, worst movie you've ever seen. Coming in at number 9, Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Number 8 is going to be Clue. So I actually saw this movie a long time ago and forgot how funny it was. And my nieces, of all things, wanted to watch it with me last year. They're like, Uncle Kevin, can we watch Clue? So I was like, sure, okay, random. Watched it. Movie's hilarious, dude. I was laughing so hard. It has Tim Curry in it, a lot of other really good actors. And my favorite TV show of all time, Psych, actually does their 100th episode in a Clue-themed episode. And they even have some guest stars from that movie in the show. So it's just a fun movie. It's based off the classic board game, goodness gracious. And when it was released in theaters, apparently what I'm told is they actually had different endings. So then people would go to school and talk about it, and it would be a different person who did it at the end of the movie. And then when they released it on home video, it would have all of the endings and then the official ending. So it's a good time, man. If you haven't seen Clue, go do it. That movie's funny. Coming in at number 8. Number 7 is going to be Pale Rider. So I watched this movie with my dad for the first time a couple years ago on Easter Sunday of all days. We were hanging out, we did communion together, we prayed, we read the story of the resurrection, and then we decided to watch a Clint Eastwood movie. And this movie was awesome, man. It was so good. My dad was telling me about how much he loved it as a kid, and you just get to see Clint Eastwood in a Western again after he'd done all the spaghetti Westerns, and he just fits so well into that role. It's like the town prays for a hero to come rescue them, and this guy shows up, and there's like alluding to that he may be an avenging angel, but you don't really know. There's still some ambiguity there, but there's definitely still something weird about this preacher character played by Clint Eastwood, and he just protects the town and saves the town. It's an awesome Western, awesome Clint Eastwood movie, one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies. And it comes in at number, what number did it say? Number 7. It comes in at number 7, Pale Rider. I'm just kidding. Coming in at number 6 is the movie Commando. This is when Arnold Schwarzenegger was dominating the box office as the quintessential action hero. And I think he even does better in the 90s, but we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. Commando is over the top 80s action as you can get. Like when people talk about 80s action, Commando's the movie that they're thinking of, where he's just holding guns at his side and just shooting, you know, with just muscles and adrenaline, one-liners. You know, it's Arnold at his best. He's like a retired special forces agent They kidnap his daughter, so he has to get back into it and rescue her, man. It's just a good movie, dude. It's over the top 80s action. Arnold at his best. Not at his best, we'll get to that in 87. But it's just a great Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, dude. It's a great over the top 80s action. And it comes in at number 6 for our best movies of 1985. Coming in at number 5 is The Breakfast Club. This is an icon of that decade. This is probably one of the most iconic films of all time. Thank God they never made it a franchise. They never tried to duplicate it. It just stands as its own. This is the definitive John Hughes movie, even more so than 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink. This movie stands alone. It brings in all the tropes, brings them together. All these kids have detention on a Saturday, and they're all from different cliques in high school. You have the jock, you have the goth, you have the outcast, you have the pretty popular girl, and they all get forced to be together. And just the character dynamics within this movie is fantastic. Like when I was downloading the video to put in this video, like downloading the trailer, I had a big smile on my face, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love The Breakfast Club. This is such a good movie. And again, it's just an iconic movie, man. Psych, as I've stated, is my all-time favorite TV show. They reference this movie so often throughout that series. It is just an absolute icon and staple of the decade, one of the best movies of that decade, but it still only comes in at number 5 on our list. So how great was the 1980s and the year 1985 for movies if one of the icons of the decade only comes in at number 5? It's crazy. Anyway, go watch The Breakfast Club, dude.
Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Don't you forget about me.
Coming in at number 4. Number 4 is going to be Rambo First Blood Part 2. So the first Rambo is a slow burn, right? And it's about trauma and tragedy. Rambo 2 is full on action. Again, we're in 1985, baby. It is over the top action. Stallone is holding a gun that's usually mounted on a helicopter. As he says, you know, I saw an interview with him and he's like, yeah, that's not realistic. You know, he's like, that gun's supposed to be on a helicopter. You can't hold it with one hand. In this movie, he does. He's holding it with one hand. He's got the bullets all wrapped around his arm. Takes on a whole army, man, and he's just shredded. Stallone is in fantastic shape. Like I said, we are in the middle of the 1980s over-the-top action, and in this year we got Commando and Rambo First Blood Part 2, a lot of people's favorite movie in the franchise. It's awesome, dude. You still get fantastic acting by Stallone. There's a few moments with a lot of emotional heart, and it's just over-the-top action. Rambo is the, like, warrior of warriors in the movies, man. And it's awesome, dude. This movie comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be The Goonies. Again, an absolute icon and staple of this decade that came out in this fantastic year of 1985. And it only comes in at number 3. Dude, I remember watching this movie with my nieces last year, and the wonder on their faces as they're watching the story, and they're like, I want to be a Goonie, and I'm like, me too, kid. Like, this is just so much fun, man. It's just got Spielberg written all over it. It's just such a fun adventure film, and it has all the heart and warmth that you would want from a 1980s adventure film. It's definitely geared toward kids, and I think every kid since 1985 has wanted to be a Goonie. If you wanted to be a Goonie, comment down below, Goonies for life. And I just think that it's just, this is like one of those essential movies that every kid has to see. And when you do, man, like I said, every kid wants to be on a Goonie. Every kid wants to go on an adventure. We want to find that treasure. And especially if you could go on this adventure to save your home like they do in this movie with your best buds, man, that would be so cool. And I think it just does a good job of hitting to the core of every kid and what they desire. There's romance, there's adventure, there's danger, there's friendship, there's overcoming adversity. This movie has it all, man, and it's just, again, a staple, a classic icon of this classical, iconic decade. The Goonies is one of the best movies of that decade, and still only comes in at number 3 on our list for this year. That's how stacked 1985 was. So coming in at number 3 for me, The Goonies. All right, so we are down to our top 2. Now, I will level with you. Number 2 is my favorite of these 2 movies, right? My number 2 pick is more of a favorite movie of mine, and that's why it gets so high on this list. Number 1 it had to be number one. Like when we're talking about 1985 and, you know, the best movie of that year, you'll see why. But coming in at number 2 for me, the best movies of 1985 is going to be Rocky IV. Now, I need to redo my Rocky ranking that I did a couple of years ago because I've been watching like a lot of people react to them. I got that list way wrong. I realized how much I love this franchise, so I got to redo that. But anyway, Rocky Balboa is my favorite movie character of all time. The Rocky franchise is my favorite franchise of all time. And my favorite movie of all time is the 1976 Rocky. Rocky IV is probably my second favorite movie in that franchise and is my most rewatched movie in that franchise. It is over the top. It doesn't make really any sense. It's like Rocky stops the Cold War with a boxing match. It doesn't make any sense. Do you care? Absolutely not. Stallone is jacked. He's in some of the best shape of his entire life. It's the best fight in the entire franchise, and it has an emotional gravitas. By this time, we care so much about the characters. So when Apollo dies, it matters to us, especially because we saw Rocky lose Mickey in Rocky III, which I love that movie too. You guys know that based on my earlier rankings. And it means a lot. These characters mean a lot to me. And Rocky IV is just an amazing movie. It's the only one in the franchise that doesn't have the music by Bill Conti, so you don't get Gonna Fly Now or Going the Distance or anything like that, but the songs in it are fantastic. It's just a great movie through and through, man. Rocky IV holds a very special spot in my heart. There was no way it wasn't gonna make at least the top 2 on this list. So I get it if you disagree and you think that the Goonies and the Breakfast Club is higher in your ranking than Rocky II. Not gonna be upset, I completely understand. But this is subjective, as Sean Chandler likes to say. My list isn't the right list, it's just my list. And on my list, Rocky IV is the second best movie of 1985. But coming in at number 1, it had to be Back to the Future. This is quite possibly the most iconic movie of the whole 1980s. This is a almost perfect movie. And in film schools, they'll tell you this was the perfect screenplay. If you look at the screenplay for Back to the Future, they say this is close to a perfect screenplay as can be made. Robert Zemeckis and his family have said that they will never remake this movie. They're never gonna sell the rights so you can make another Back to the Future. There's only been 3, and it is quite possibly the best trilogy ever. There's no bad movie in this trilogy, and it started with the original, the story of Marty McFly having to go back in time to the 1950s, seeing his parents and meeting them, and his mom has the hots for him, but he has to get his mom to like his dad, and then there's the awkwardness and all of that, and then the dad's bully and trying to not mess with the future because it's gonna, or trying to not mess with the past because it'll affect the future. There's so much that goes into this movie. It is such an amazing film. Again, just that sense of adventure that I feel like we don't have anymore, that the 80s captured better than any other decade. And there's a warmth that comes from Back to the Future. It's amazing. And again, it's a Steven Spielberg produced film, but directed by Robert Zemeckis. It just has this warm feeling that you really only get from movies in this decade. And you get it more from Back to the Future than you do in any other movie. It's iconic, it has a great score. I've never met anybody who dislikes this movie. If you dislike this movie, your opinion is wrong and you need to change it. And it absolutely comes in as the number 1 movie for this year. The best movie of 1985, Back to the Future. So my friends, that is all I have for today. Please let me know your ranking of the best movies of 1985 down in the comments below. Did I mess up with Rocky II? What's your opinion? If you are a fan of the Goonies and you wanted to be a Goonie, comment down below, Goonies for life. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out the channel tremendously. And remember, I love you, Jesus loves you. That's our story and we're sticking to it. See you guys.